Welcome. We have a special episode. We have returning champion guest, my dad, Chris Bledsoe.
Chris Bledsoe in the house. Welcome back, sir.
Thanks for joining
me. I'm at home.
Yeah, literally, right?
Yeah.
We're happy to have you back.
Oh,
it's been like 2 years, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Since
the book came out.
Probably 2 years, I guess.
Since the book came out.
Yeah. So it's a special time right now, and I thought it'd be a good time to come on.
Yeah. Let's acknowledge tomorrow.
Okay.
What is tomorrow?
Tomorrow's 18 years. 18 years ago tomorrow, my life was forever altered. So was my family, yours, everybody. And
All
a lot of
ours.
people around me, right?
Yeah.
I think we're still altering people from our experience.
Yeah.
18 years. I mean, did you even have an 18-year-old child when this happened? Like, how old was Chris? 17?
He was 17.
I thought so.
He had a baby. She was, Emily was 10.
Yeah.
Ryan was 13.
Jeremy was like 15, I think. He had just turned 15.
Just turned 15, yeah. Junior was 17.
Crazy.
So now Junior's 35.
He'll be 35 in May, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Golly.
That's crazy.
What a trip.
Time flies, right? And it's only gotten more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could say that.
Yeah.
I'd say
that's pretty accurate.
I wanted to talk first about the shift.
Okay.
And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. There's been a lot of shifts throughout these 18 years. It seems to go for a period of time, and it'll just be steady, and then shifts up to another level. And you remember the first 5 years was we called darkness. It was just, why did you come and take me? Why did you leave me like this? And then the lady comes, and all of a sudden, everything becomes clear, and the floodgates opened. All kinds of things started happening, from which got me tangled up deep into the government, and that went along till, in other words, my interaction with the phenomenon is what I'm getting at. When I say a shift, the amount of interaction with the phenomenon increases dramatically. Well, it did, and it ran along from about 2012 to 2019 at a steady pace. And those were the years when I was very sick, right? And I didn't talk for like 8 years there. And then when 2019 comes, I wrote about the experience there, and the shift went, whew, the amount of activity went from 1 or 2 orbs a night to 25, 30 every night.
You said 2019?
2019, yeah. I wrote about 2019 in the book. And then this past year at Easter, when it all seemed normal, except around Easter it gets really crazy.
Always,
and
yeah.
we had, a big sighting at the house with on Easter with you and
Yeah, me and you and Jenny and Teddy.
yeah, and your mom, she ran in the house with her back, didn't want to, she got afraid. But
Did we talk about that one?
Yeah, but not with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
But
know
we
if I
have-
remember.
we had this big bluish white orb about big as the hood on your car, maybe a little smaller, coming right through the forest about 50, 60 feet down in there, and it was just weaving its way.
Moving like
Weird.
It
serpentine,
wasn't
like-
even 3 feet off the ground.
It was like bobbing, and it would stop, and it would be still for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then it would move again, and every tree around it was like illuminated. It was strange. And Dad was like, "It's the lady."
And I predicted it. We were at the restaurant eating. I said, "Son, we need to be home at 8:30 because I think the lady's coming."
Yep, he did.
And I rushed them to get done with supper. At the 2 miles up the street at Mexita, the Mexican.
Oh, yeah.
restaurant.
Fayetteville
So I
legend.
ended their meal they were enjoying. I had to cut their conversation. Let's go. And it was Jenny and Ryan and Teddy in the back seat. And Ryan's in the middle, right? Teddy's car seat's bolted in. And my mom's driving. And so we pulled in the driveway at 8:30, right at the time I told him. And so I opened the driver's door. I'm going to run in and get my camera. I got to get ready, right? I just know she's coming. And when I opened the the passenger door and stepped out, I turned back to grab the back door to open for Teddy. I was going to unstrap him. And the minute I did, the whole back of the car, 10 feet behind it, just orbs started flashing, flash, flash, flash. Red and white was all around. I'm like, get out of the car.
I'm like, I'm trying. I'm like struggling to get out.
Getting out. He's in the middle. I'm like, get out now.
I'm trying.
Like those little ones, the little orbs flashing?
About like that.
Oh, wow.
They were big as softballs, right? And they would pop right in front of me and go out. And 5 or 6. And they were only 15, 20 feet and about eye level. And then I saw it. Poof, appear, on the property beside us in the forest.
As soon as you got out.
Yeah, as soon as I got out. And I'm shouting, she's here. And they ran out the car. My wife was so afraid. She put her head down.
She took off.
To the house.
Oh, poor thing.
Yeah, she took off.
That was Easter?
It was Good Friday.
Yeah, I mean,
the weekend of Easter.
That weekend.
Yeah.
But I knew that night was the night. And I told him that. So a week later, this eclipse happened.
Right.
And I got to say something about that. I don't know if I should say it or not.
You should say it.
Yeah, I should. So I get a call from a very important person in March. Called me, kind of hurt my feelings. He's like, dude, you got to get a new camera. And a nice one. We need to do a GoFundMe or whatever it takes to get you a new camera, but you got to get better data. And this is somebody that,
he just wants to help us tell a story.
Right. Right. So I started going out every night saying, I need a new camera. Help me figure this out. That's what I did every night. I go out and I talk to the sky just like I'm talking to you guys, because I know they hear me.
Yeah.
And that was in late March, and then in April when the eclipse happened, a week after Easter. It was the 8th. I think it was the 8th.
Something like that. Yeah, because Easter was the 1st, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
and then
8 days later.
Yeah.
Or 7. The eclipse happened, and then I get a call from somebody from Washington, D.C. saying, I want to buy you a new camera. Out of the blue. And nobody knew I was looking at new cameras. This is how this thing works, right? So they're like, research it what you need. So I called a videographer or cinematographer from out of L.A., and he researched it, said, you need this. Well, there's a lot of money for that. And a week later, after I sent it to them, they brought that camera. But immediately, after that shift, after that eclipse, the eclipse was the day, I began to see these huge triangles that would appear out of thin air. Ryan saw them with me. There were 3 or 4 of us watched one appear over your house right here.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, it was the apartment.
We saw one here.
There was one in this yard.
Oh, we did? That's right. That's right. Yeah,
we saw one here.
I forgot about that one.
But we didn't see it as a triangle until he recorded it with his phone, and when we looked back on the phone, it was clearly a triangle.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Looking at it, it just looked like a normal orb. But then he zoomed in, and
it looked weird. It
clearly
looked longer, or like a stretched looking kind of thing. But,
wow.
We all got 3 or 4 videos of it. But then we left from here and went to his house, and we were sitting on his little back patio, and right above us, I don't mean way up, I mean a couple 100 feet above his apartment.
Or less.
Yeah, this huge thing just materialized. It was like it just come into view as it's going over our head, and it was many colors, and it had
it looked organic, right?
Yeah, organic sorta, and it was kind of malleable, and then it vanished as it flew on off in the distance. But it was just a change in the amount of activity, and so if you want to know how much it changed, we left from here, went to the Riverfest, right? After we start having sky watches.
Yeah.
So instead of having 20 or 30 orbs show up on a sky watch, we started getting 50, 60, 70, 80, 100, 130. This weekend we had some very famous people here. A private skywatch with a group from LA, and
we saw a lot of orbs.
We saw a lot of orbs.
A lot of
In
orbs.
2 nights, we saw 100 or more, over 100 in 1 hour the first night. And here's the thing I told Ryan. Ryan organized the watch, you know. That's what I let him do that. And I said one thing. I said, Ryan, you be sure you have everybody at my house at 5 minutes to 6, not a minute late. If you do, I'm going to be upset because they're coming at 6.
That was the night
And
before.
it's going to be 1 hour. You're going to get to see it for 1 hour, and it'll be over. And I told him that 24 hours in advance. And when we got there at 5 minutes to 6, still daylight, this orb appears right in front of us. And everybody's, oh, my God, and they're filming it. 6 o'clock, here comes 6 at a time. And in 45 minutes, we had over 100 just all over.
It was
us.
nonstop, 5 or 6 in the sky at once. Just.
Right.
It was like mind-boggling.
So we went in
Whoa.
and had some coffee to warm up a bit, stepped back outside, and there was nothing. It's like, where are they? I said, I'll tell you, it'd be 1 hour, and that's it.
But also, if
And
I can,
knew it a night in advance.
Yeah.
Right?
if I can just add context to that, I took these guys to the Starbucks down the street at 2 o'clock, and you weren't with me.
Right.
So in the car, I gave them a pep talk, all 3 of them, and I said, guys, I gotta make sure that you're all on the same page here. That Dad has this thing where he gets a time when they're gonna show up. Last night, he told me we need to be ready, dressed, in position 5 till 6 tonight. And they were like, okay, well, maybe we'll just order in pizza and we'll go look at the river tomorrow. Because they were thinking, we need to go do this, we need to go do this. And I was
Yeah.
like, we're running out of time. We need a skywatch. We need to be there 5 till 6. And they were like, okay. So it blew their mind that exactly at the time he gave, there were 100 orbs. So then our friend Dax, who's this really good friend of ours now, obviously, but he's a Canadian actor, and he's been really into the story. He kind of brought everybody here, and he was like, do you guys want to go out one more half hour before we hit the hotel? So that was the second time we went out, and we saw like 2 things.
The same night you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We went out twice.
Yeah.
So the second time we went out, we only really saw 1 or 2 things. So then they said, the mind-blowing part wasn't the 100 orbs. It was the fact that 24 hours in advance, Chris said, you need to be here at this moment, and we have 1 hour. And then we went out again, and there was nothing, and somebody else suggested we go out again. So they were like, oh, my God, he has a connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild when you like see it happen for the first time, where
And
you
I
just
do
call
it.
the time and
I do it every time.
yeah.
And that's what they don't understand. History Channel, all the producers there, when we go to shoot these episodes, the producer or director will come up to me and say, okay, what time? And I'll like 7:30 or 8 o'clock. And he'll look at the crew and say, camera's rolling at 7,
Yeah.
7:15. And then we'll leave our location and come back at that time, and immediately it starts. And it's pretty much has been pretty much every time.
Yeah.
And I know it. It's hard to explain, but proving it is seeing is believing, right?
Oh yeah.
So the next night, last night, was it last night? Night before last.
Night before.
We went back out on the beach, and as you know, a front came through, and it started getting real cloudy
Yeah.
And cold.
and cold,
Real
really
cold.
cold. And we went out and saw, I don't know, 30, 40 orbs before it clouded over and started raining. It rained last night and cleared out this morning. But we still had an amazing time seeing these things, and they're appearing and disappearing. Appear and go a little piece and disappear. And often right when we say something, we'll ask, a question and poof. And when you experience that, it takes the doubt out. And once it takes the doubt out, then you start experiencing.
Oh yeah. And some of these guys were experiencing the phenomenon for the very first time. I mean, all
Yeah.
of them, I think.
All of them.
Well, no, Brad had seen 2
Well, yeah.
things, but because he had been talking to us
Right.
previously,
right.
like leading up to meeting us, but because of us for the first time.
This-
Yeah, they've all seen something at least once.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
But nothing like what happened.
Nothing
no,
like that.
that's
Yeah.
a spectacular introduction to the phenomenon. Talk about like ripping the Band-Aid off. Like,
So what I'm getting at, to go back to Ryan's question, was the shift. That shifted gears again, and now it's 100, 130 orbs. Is not uncommon for, a skywatch now.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to get greater and greater and greater and greater. And the more that I do this, the more I learn, the more greater my connection gets. And it could, I can perceive a meet and greet. I wrote about it in the book, going out towards Utah. And I think that's this year, because my camera equipment has shown up. And that was a big sign for me to move forward on this little thing we're planning to hit the road. And
that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
That sounds really exciting.
There's been twice in the last week where I've just walked to the mailbox, and then it's like I'm not even trying to skywatch, and I'm just walking to grab the mail, and they're just there.
Yeah.
It happened tonight with you sitting in the living room. I walked out to grab the mail, and I looked up, and there was a double orb. I filmed it. And then last week I was on the phone with Emily the night before our guests came, and we were just talking about getting ready, preparing, what do we think is going to happen. And by the time I left my garage, walked to the mailbox, and came back, I saw 10 orbs shooting around the sky. So it's like there's definitely been a shift.
Yeah.
Also, I want to add to the beach the other night something that you said that you forgot to mention, but it's important, is that you said in front of the group, let's all put our focus on the ocean and ask that we can have one appear over the water.
Right.
So what happened?
Well, for the next, immediately one appeared just above the surface, and it sat there a long time. In fact, I let half the group take my little camera and film it or look at it for themselves. And there was one orb appeared right on the water. It was on the water, looked like it was bobbing, floating, and then it just vanished. And we saw a lot of stuff, but it responds, and just it responds to our where we want it to appear, not just something to show up and you don't know. It's
right.
Like we want you to appear here, and it does here.
It's participating.
Absolutely.
Well, I've always been able to do that in a manner, right?
Yeah.
Have something appear in Spain, or have something appear in Mount Weather, Washington, D.C., and ask it to while there's somebody up there, and it does. So
yeah,
when you see that, you can't get around that we are communicating with this.
Yeah, it's participating with you.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. Casey is kind of the big spotter between the two of us. I mean, just constantly. If we are getting out of a car, if we're getting into a car.
She's looking, right?
Oh, yeah. I'll look over at her. She's literally all the time.
Same.
She's got her, and she always points them out. And she, look, right there. And I'll look up, and every time, and it's been, like, lately, it's been a lot. And you know what's funny? It seems like the more she engages with spotting them, it's like there's momentum, and she'll see more and more and more and more and more.
That's the way it works.
Yeah. And so yeah, she's our spotter.
Yeah.
Yeah, she calls them out.
I'm like that too. It's like I notice now, and it's just a habit. When I'm outside at night, I'm just naturally looking up, and even if I don't see anything, I've learned to appreciate just seeing the stars.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Like,
it's beautiful.
It's life changing to do this.
I've affected thousands of people to start looking up at night, and what a beautiful thing it is, because I get a lot of people saying, "Oh my God, I saw it. It changed my life." And then you get a million skeptics that, well, poo on them because they'll never see it.
Yeah, that's true.
They're their own worst enemies. They just don't know it.
Because I mean, I think a huge component of this is belief, right?
It's faith.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
If you don't have the faith, you can't get past that block in your brain. So you let your analytical side of your brain rule you, and you'll never awaken, because you've got to come from here with this. This is different. This is a spiritual thing.
Yeah.
It's not a scientific thing. That I have a friend in D.C. told me something recently that really is so true. The word PhD or physicist or any of that means absolutely zero when it comes to this. Everybody's on a level playing field. So education does not matter. You can be the smartest person in the world. You have no idea about this any different than the little lady who works on a farm in South Carolina somewhere. Right?
Yeah.
So it's the scientific, analytical side that keeps you from ever connecting.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's well said.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like you have to humble yourself, and I mean, it's really about being in balance, right? With the brain, you know, there's a time for logical, analytical stuff, but then there's a time for kind of humbling yourself and, you know, just accepting that there's something else that.
You got to become a child.
Yeah.
Right. That wonder. If you're sitting there, oh, that's this or that's that, well, you're going back inside. You're just shooting yourself in the foot.
That's funny.
I've seen it a million times.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
So.
Well, it's true. And I think the childlike wonder thing, it applies to so many aspects of spirituality. And we talk about how like art is very spiritual too. Right. And I feel like one of the easiest ways to access like artistic inspiration is having childlike wonder.
Right.
There's so many different things that if you just let go of needing to know how something works and the inner workings of something and trying to understand every little aspect of it, once you let go of that and just behold it,
yep,
you can be connected to it and inspired by it.
Yeah.
Well said.
You know?
Well said.
Yeah, I love that. I want to circle back to the shift again because there's a few more things I wanted to hit.
Okay.
Are you willing to talk about the dream that you had the night of the eclipse with the suns? Remember?
Yeah.
Whatever you can
It's
remember.
really weird, and what it means, I don't know.
That's okay.
But it was very profound. I don't have dreams like this. Rare. I mean, I can't remember the last one. But it was somehow, I'm in the Midwest, like where I'm going to search for the lady. I write about this in the book. And in this context, in the dream, that's what I was doing. Because I've studied and I've been working, putting together an expedition to go out west with a scientific expedition with all the right stuff, the right people, with engineers and camera gear, and we're going to document this. And this is kind of the first time I've talked about this publicly. And it's happening. It's going to start this year. And there's be a lot more details you guys can tell about that.
Yeah.
But that's the ultimate for me, is to go in search of personal contact. In other words, we see orbs. Everybody's seeing them now, but we're going to see what's inside of them.
Yeah.
And that's what I was given. That's why I wrote about Utah. So I'm out in the Midwest. And when I say Utah, I'm not sure if it's Utah. It could be anywhere.
You just feel connected to Utah.
My research makes me want to go there first, based on the geography, right? But it could be Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, somewhere in that area. It's within some Indian ruins, ancient ruins, is where I saw her. And so I'm there. This beautiful evening, the sun's going down. It's that time of day, right? And so I look. It's just suddenly, it's like I look and I hear people shouting. And I look and everybody's outside. I can look to the right and the left and everybody's like, oh my God, and they're looking up at the horizon. Desert, right? So there's no trees. It's just clear all the way across. And I see 6 suns. There were 7 suns. Like the sun that shines on earth. There were 6 side by side. And then a little space, like there was one missing here, and the other one was sitting over here by itself. So there's 1 and then 6. And they're going down. And I can see the top half of them. And so everybody in my dream is freaking out, like, oh my God, what is this, 7 suns? They were all the same height. They all vanished below the horizon. And when the 7th, when they all vanished, another one came up. and ascended up, and it took up the whole entire sky. So it was larger than all of them put together. It's just humongous, and I woke up in a sweat. So it was, to me, it was the return of something magnificent. And I think it's going to be where I saw it, in that area, and I'm going on a hunt for it.
Wow. So you get the feeling that that specific thing you saw in your dream is going to be something that you see when you go out there.
But I think it's going to represent the lady.
Or maybe the dream is symbolic, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it won't literally look like that.
Right.
Because I remember that day, that dream was the night of the eclipse.
Yep.
And then the next day we were together, and you told me, son, I just had the weirdest dream. And you said, but I feel like those original sons that descended were the old evil powers,
The old powers,
going away.
Yeah, and the return.
Wow.
Of
The shift in
peace.
the age.
The return of this powerful force is coming. And it's coming. I've warned everybody for the last 15 years this is going to happen. And the sky's full of stuff right now.
Yep.
And if you read my book, I've been writing about this for 15 plus years, talking about it. And I just, so.
It's a natural next point that I wanted to get to next. But before we talk about what's happening now, I wanted to also say this. About a month ago, Emily had a strange dream. And she woke up. She's explained it to me in vivid detail that when she woke up, she had the feeling that she actually had a face-to-face encounter with an entity, which she knows what that feels like.
Right.
But in her dream, she saw one of the beings, and it was face-to-face with her, and it told her, soon we are going to allow you to capture footage of us fully manifest.
That's coming.
And she woke up, and she was like almost in shock, like, having heavy breath and almost in like a sweat, and she said it felt very real when she woke up from that dream. But
she just had that dream like a month ago?
About a month ago, yeah.
Wow.
It's time. It's coming. And the world's going to change. There's nothing nobody can do about it at all. They could try, but it's not going to work. This phenomenon, the internet, and this information age is what's going to change it all. You can't stop it. And you can't stop them from coming. That's what I'm saying. They're shooting at them now, and they can't shoot them out.
They're here.
They got military drones up there. They're saying we don't know what they are, but we know what they are. They're ours, and I'm sure of it. So I have other sources that a friend of mine put a laser on one, and the FBI came to his house in 30 minutes.
What?
Yep.
Yep.
Put a laser on one of the drones or the orb? Oh, okay.
Yeah, a friend in New Jersey.
In New Jersey,
wow.
Yeah.
So,
Whoa.
yep. So the orbs are watching whatever the drones are doing, or they're so afraid because all these orbs are coming that I've been predicting about, they're trying to muddy the water with the drones.
That seems right to me.
It could be that way.
I feel
Or
like
the drones are searching for something that's hazardous to our health. And the drones are, and the orbs are on alert. Just like the Foo Fighters would have been in World War II. Right at the height of the war, when the most suffering and bombing and tragedy, the Foo Fighters were flying along beside the airplanes when they're going to battle.
Yeah, which were UFOs.
Yeah.
There's all these reports of UFOs in
Orbs.
World War II. Yeah.
Wasn't that also around the time what was it, like the Battle of DC or the Battle of where all those orbs and UFOs appeared like over the White House? I think it was
52.
52.
It was not a battle. It
So-
was just they appeared.
I think that's what they called it in the headlines, and they like to dramatize it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I wanted to get more into that. It's like, it's pretty obvious now that the beings are coming into the world. And you know what? I haven't really told you this yet, but we just did a Monroe Institute program together, December 13th with Ignacio. And in one of those meditations, I just had the strangest thing where it was like, I felt like, almost like going out of body, and it was like this portal opened up in my mind, and the face of a being came through and told me, we're coming into your world now. Are you ready? We've been preparing you for this time all along.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yes, I'm ready. And the whole drone thing has been popping off, and everyone in the world is seeing orbs. Did you know that it's such a big phenomenon that very famous Hollywood celebrities are making TikToks and posts about it? And it's such a banned word on TikTok, the word orb, that people use the code word Dior bag, because orb is the most trending word in the world right now, that they're shadow banning the word orb.
So that tells you right there the logic behind the drones. They're trying to muddy the water, make all these average people think, oh my God, they're all drones, and when the orbs appear, it's a drone. Well, we're going to educate them different about that.
Yeah.
Guarantee you.
That's just fear mongering.
Well, it's a way to control. I think they're afraid. I think the government's afraid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're terrified.
Because I've been in high level meetings in D.C. with congressmen, with
colonels
from the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be in meetings in the next month the same way. And
a summit.
Yeah, and they're scared. They don't know how to control it. They have nothing that can defend themselves against it. But here's the problem. They don't want us messing with it. They don't want the public entertaining the idea of calling on it and looking for it, because they may not control it.
It's always,
so they're going to end up turning it negative or perverting it somehow, so they can keep control over the population. That's the plan. I've heard it many times, but it's not going to work.
No,
it's not going to work.
Yeah. And they'll do all kinds of psychological tactics. Like one of them they're doing now is they're spinning them as plasmoids. They're an alien race of these plasmoid beings. Oh, but they're also drones. So it's like,
which is it?
Right. Like, so the common person who's not really initiated into this, they're like, what is it? What is it? Plasmoid. Oh my God, that's scary. Oh my God, it's drones. They're Chinese anti-gravity drones. No.
Well, let's address this plasmoid word real quick. Okay?
Thank you.
And if you get a picture, I'll give you a picture of one that I painted in a sketch that I did 17 years ago. And everybody's wondering, how did you get into NASA? Why were you there? Why were you studying with them? I have all the documentation. I have all the the proof in the world I was there. Photos, videos, meeting with scientists high level. What was their interest in me? Why did they need me? Right? Something I haven't talked about in all these years, why I was there. And I kind of wrote about this in the book. When I ask them, why do you need me? Why do you want me here? You've got rockets, you've got space shuttles, you've got satellites, you've got the space station, all the money and technology and telescopes in the world. And they're like, well, we know they like you and they communicate with you, and they don't have nothing to do with us at all. And we'd like to know why, what it is they want. And why it is they're harassing their astronauts.
Harassing them.
So has any astronauts ever seen an orb or one of these? All of them.
No way.
All of them.
Really?
Yep.
I know I've seen videos of Buzz Aldrin talking about they saw some stuff, but he never said specifically.
Well, they've never released it.
Right.
But that's why I was there, consulting with them about what they're now calling a plasmoid, which is an angelic being. It's little glowing beings that come out of the orbs.
So how do they see them? How do they appear to them?
They would appear outside the space shuttle, look in the windows at them.
Whoa.
Stand up over the shuttle bay or the space station, glowing. Sometimes there's a report of a half a dozen of them, 125 feet tall, with wings, standing there smiling at them.
Yeah, smiling in the window.
Space.
Yeah.
Wow.
So for 18 years, I never talked about this, and this is the first time publicly tonight, really.
So we're talking about things that come out of the orbs.
Angels, angelic beings, created beings. They're made of energy, but in a ball of light. But out of that ball of light comes a glowing being. Sometimes they're 6, 7 feet tall or taller.
Or 125 feet tall.
Yep.
whatever they want.
They can mimic anything. They can mimic a flying saucer. They can mimic a drone. They can split in 2 or 100.
I've seen it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, in the room with Alex.
Yeah.
The little translucent.
Right.
Little.
But I've also seen one split into 2 when I was with Matt Bell this past month in Florida.
Yeah.
This one orb rose and it just split in 2 and went opposite directions.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can do anything.
I've been laughed at by the UFO world for 15 years and telling them the orbs are flying saucers. The orbs are these metal balls, these black balls you see in the daytime, or silver disc. The orbs mimic those things.
All of them.
It's all orbs. All the phenomenon is the orbs, but it's not orbs. It's the beings. They're entities.
Yeah. Out of those orbs are beings.
Yeah.
And NASA's trying to label them plasmoid, which is okay. It's a scientific name.
Sure.
But it's a created intelligent being that watches us, that monitors all life on this planet. That's what they do.
Wow.
Yep.
So that would be like the little humanoid beings that you saw 18 years ago tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you and Chris Jr. saw. Those are what come out of.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
the
the
orbs.
cool thing is I have video of that. So nobody can tell me I'm not right about it.
Yeah.
Well, we're past that. We're way past
Oh,
that.
Right.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Word on
But
the
I
street
have it for
is
science.
Of
I
course.
document this stuff.
right.
To be the expert.
Of course, and that's
And I
brilliant.
pretty much am that expert.
Yeah,
yeah.
you know,
When it comes to orbs.
that's word around Congress and DC that you're the expert on this, Chris. You want to come talk at our summit next month?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the email. Someone from DC, but
I don't claim to know it all by no means, but 18 years, that's like 2 or 3 PhDs when it comes to
Yeah. You got a triple doctorate.
at least.
This summer I'll be in a conference where I'll have the floor and it'll be MIT scientists, Princeton scientists, and they're all like little school kids right up under me listening.
Yeah,
Dozens.
it's amazing. It's wonderful for me to behold because all those years I lived with you until I was 23. And then even after that, you know, I'm obviously still your son, so I talked to you more than anyone else and
Every
asked
day.
you more questions than anyone and learned your story more than anyone and lived it more than anyone. You know, and I've seen the whole thing unfold. And the most brilliant part to me is that before 2012, no one ever referenced any sort of UFO phenomenon as an orb.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Yeah.
The only reference to an orb was ghost photos in a graveyard,
Right.
in a cemetery, whatever.
Right.
Dad said they're orbs. I'm getting videos of orbs. I'm getting photos of orbs, and changed the paradigm and forced his hand to where the world that's so obsessed with aliens and all that crap, he forced them to start acknowledging orbs and saying,
Absolutely.
yeah, there's orbs and there's interdimensional beings. So Dad changed the paradigm in that way. And now, fast forward to January 7th, which is today, 2025. Orb is the most censored word in the world. And it's the most viral phenomenon. And millions of
But I
people
was
around the
guy
world.
that coined that term as, this in 2007.
So it's wonderful for me to watch it all go down.
So think about this. Before my experience, Kenneth Arnold, he's in Oregon or somewhere, flying a little plane and sees these silver things over on the mountain 4 or 5 miles away, just kind of doing this and shine and light just glittering off of them. And he reports it, and it's just like the media would they all try to make fun of everybody, poke fun. He reports it as the way he drew them. They look like bat wings, kind of chevrons, right? But he said they moved like if you skip a saucer on the water and it, just does this. So the media called Kenneth Arnold seeing flying saucers, right? Made fun of him. Well, they didn't realize that for the next 50 years, everybody sees flying saucers.
Yeah.
And in the 80s, some guys in Belgium says, oh, there's this big old triangle that flew over with red glowing lights on it. Next 10 years, everybody sees triangles. No more flying saucers, right?
Flying ships, right?
Well, that was before that.
Ancient.
1800s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ancient.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Egypt.
Yep.
Sailboats
Yeah.
with glowing wings
Yeah.
would fly.
Or balloons.
Native
or,
Americans as well saw like flying like ships after the American.
the white stone canoe. That's what
Right. Yes.
some of the legends of the Sioux would be this. Their chief,
Right.
they'd see him get in this white glowing canoe and it'd take off and here
Into
he
the
goes
sky.
off. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of legend of that.
yeah.
But so in 2007, I'm standing there looking at 3 40, 50-foot balls of glowing red fire. And I didn't know what to call them. It wasn't a flying saucer. It wasn't anything like that. I didn't see, the Galactic Federation with ray guns and all that crap. All I saw was light. And 4 hours later, what happened to me? 5 years later, I'm still trying to figure out what happened while trying to save my family. And then the lady comes and says, "I'm going to help you out." And from that point forward, it all changed. But, yeah.
I just had the thought, but I want you to cover something that I've tried to explain on the podcast before, and I just haven't gotten it right. And we've been talking about it this weekend with our friends from LA. Let's talk about what was found in the pyramid.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about from Robert Grant?
Yeah, briefly, I'll mention this. Last year I was in a meeting with some of the scientists and with Robert Grant. He's a pretty smart polymath guy. Really.
He's a Gaia show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Robert Edward Grant.
I enjoy being around Robert. He's a brilliant guy. And I haven't researched what he does, but he has been researching the pyramids and the Sphinx, and has been on the same trail with the very thing the lady told me that I've been telling for 15 years, or since 2012 anyhow, what she said about the alignment and a new knowledge. Well, he's looking for a ruby to place between the paws of the Sphinx, so this Edgar Casey's what do you call
Prediction,
it?
reading,
Will
whatever.
come true about if he can find that ruby and put it between the paws of the Sphinx, then this chamber's going to open under the Sphinx and a new knowledge would come. He's talking about the new knowledge as well.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there listening to Robert. And he gives me these Oculus glasses and puts them on. He grabs me by the arm, and we walk through the pyramid, basically virtual
It was a
together.
virtual tour, but it was the real pyramid.
Yeah.
And he's got me by the hand because I got this thing, and I can, do all kinds of stuff with it. It's the most amazing thing. It felt real. But what blew me away was when we got into the king's chamber, I look on the sarcophagus right there, and what he did, he mapped the pyramid with something like LiDAR or something of that technology that revealed inscriptions in the giant pyramid that has never been seen. Nobody's ever found any inscription in that pyramid ever. And he found this symbol of Alpha and Omega on the sarcophagus, the casket thing. And on the wall to our left was this huge DNA helix going down the wall at the top, and below it was the celestial bull. So there's a huge bull on the wall, and there's stars in it. I'm like, oh my God, when the lady came, the bull that ran over me, I could see the stars up through it. And so it was the same layout and all that I saw on this wall, and it just hit me. It was just like hit me with a rock. Wow. And he's talking about, after we got out of that, he begins to talk about looking for that ruby. And I said, Robert, it's not the ruby. And you could have heard a pin drop in the whole room. And it was all these scientists, Princeton and all of them.
DOD?
Yeah, they're all DOD. All of them, basically. So you could have heard a pin drop. And all eyes looked at me. I said, Robert, it's the star Regulus. And he looks, he said, oh my God, that's right. Because I told him the prediction the lady said, when the star Regulus rises up on the horizon, in the gaze of the Sphinx. So in other words, between its paws, this little star is going to appear right on top of the sand before the sun comes up. I'm sorry, I got something on my lip there. But the star is going to rise up, and that's when the shift in the knowledge. And Robert's like, oh my God, that's the king star.
Yeah.
The king
little
star.
king, return of the little king.
Regulus means the little king star.
Yeah.
It's in the mane of the lion Leo in the constellation.
Wow. I
Yeah,
didn't know
so that you could have heard a pin drop in that room when they said that, and he got a revelation about it and kind of answered what he's been hunting for. And he actually I don't know the words he used, but he made what I'm saying even more stronger to me as being real, right?
Corroboration.
So,
Yeah.
corroboration. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, he like reinforced those feelings.
So all that happened this year, June. Yeah, we're gonna probably meet again this June or May.
Wow.
Yeah.
So much has happened since the last time we we had you on the show.
Yeah.
So much.
Mass sightings.
Mass sightings,
Yeah.
2 festivals with mass sightings.
Yeah.
Like all of this
All
stuff that we're
kinds of
talking
stuff,
about.
man.
Well,
And then the stuff in the media.
or the River Fest, right? We had
Right.
200 people out on the beach, between 170 and 200.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Well over 100 orbs that
yeah,
night.
And then these little orbs, these angelic beings with wings.
Oh.
Just what was amazing about that, I filmed it, and so did
A
somebody
few people
else.
did, yeah.
Yeah. And we see this ball of light up here, right up the beach, north, looking up the beach.
Oh, you
Yeah.
saw it up here as a ball.
Well,
I
that
heard
was
some people saw it as a
It
ball
first
first.
come on as a ball
I
of
didn't-
light.
okay.
And then all of a sudden, as it starts coming down, it stretches out to a bar of light.
I saw the bar. When I locked on, it was a bar.
Right.
So I didn't even see the ball.
See the ball.
Yeah.
I didn't.
So the ball.
I didn't see it till it was already birds,
Yeah.
winged.
After I shouted,
wing-
"Look up!"
Winged
Well,
angels.
that orb that appeared, big orange orb, comes swooping down, and then it turns into a bar. And then the bar swoops down, and you can see the carpet like behind it. It looked like a magic carpet doing this as it's coming down, and the color of that thing is 8 or 10 feet wide, and the color of it is orange, gold, and red. It's switching. You saw the colors. It was just.
Yeah. It was
and out of that
translucent.
bar of light come these 4 orbs, and then these
Yeah.
wings
Wings.
pops out. And,
Yeah.
and
By the time I saw them, they were right above me, and they were already flapping. 4 of them, and I was like, they're birds, but I can see through them. I was like, they're like orange, and I can see through them. But those have to be birds, right?
they're not
And I was watching them, and then as soon as Ryan said, those are not birds, they disappeared. And I was like,
right in front of.
I like ran over to him and was like, did you see that? That's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
freaked out.
Oh, I think Kyle's daughter described them as a magic carpet
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I think
Interesting.
she said, when I first saw it, it looked like the magic carpet.
Yeah, that's exactly what it come out as a ball of light. Then it went long to a bar, and then here comes the bar. And when the bar swoops down, you can see the carpet coming by. Part of it. It was like perfectly in line. And when it did that, you see this streamer of bar. It was just a rectangle of carpet coming down. And
But of light.
Yeah.
of light,
Just
Yeah.
light.
red and golden.
Right.
It was shifting between red and golden and yellow.
And it was like
And-
kind of translucent.
You know what's amazing? I have a painting, an old painting that was from the Vatican people, from the Catholic Church, and it's an old painting, a depiction of angels, and they're all orbs. Every one of those, each group of angels are depicted in orbs, and it has a triangle on top. But the color of the whole thing, the whole painting, is all that gold and red. So these people,
Yeah.
They were seeing what we're seeing now.
Right.
2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Or
I'm
longer.
convinced
Or-
that all of it is what we were seeing now.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
100%.
why the stories, like Jesus and so on and so forth, are true.
Yeah.
They're,
Well, what I want to say to your viewers is it's confusing times right now because you got people have no clue what they're looking at, labeling it, all kinds of stuff. You got 900,000 stories out all over just of follow the evidence.
Right.
Mm.
follow the evidence. Don't pay attention to, don't put stock in these stories. We've got aliens locked up. Okay, 70 years ago you said that. Bring them out.
Yeah.
Then when you do, then pay attention to that.
Where is
Until
it?
they do,
Where is it?
follow the evidence.
Yeah.
You want to see it? I can show it to you. They say we got it, but you never see it.
No, yeah.
So I wouldn't pay that any attention. Don't put that much stock in that until they prove it.
Yeah.
When they prove it, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Until then, watch the evidence.
Yeah. That's a major difference. Is these guys, they can say all they want and they can make up all these stories and whatever. They can never show anybody anything. Never have, never will. Never will.
They never will because it's not there.
Exactly. But then you have somebody really seeing stuff and not only saying like, yeah, sure, you can see them, saying, come on, I'll show them to you. Come,
let's do it together.
Let's go. 200 of us will go to the beach and see them.
I could take 1,000 people out tonight and show it to them.
Yeah.
I know I can.
Yeah.
Because it's going to come when I walk outside. Here it's coming.
It's heading that way, I think.
Well, it could be there tomorrow if I decide. I could have 5,000 people show up next month if I put the word out. I know I can.
Yeah, but
I don't want to do that because it becomes a problem.
Yeah, so because the listener, someone out there might be like, why don't you? Yeah, we have to think about like gathering a massive crowd of people. Logistically, that's not
bathrooms, parking permits.
Liability. It's not easy.
No. So even 100 people is hard.
Yeah. It is. It's stressful.
10. We try to keep our watches to 15, 20 people, and we'll have. In fact, this year you can tell your guests this. I would like to propose that y'all organize something. We can't take everybody, but maybe you have some kind of drawing. I don't know. But we'll invite a couple of different 2 or 3 times this year if you want. And if somebody comes, they don't get to come the next time. You just, however you want to do it, I'll come down here with y'all and we'll put on some smaller sky watches. 20.
I'm already working on arranging that with Kyle.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, 20, 30 people will go down to the beach. And
I'm going to start with local people.
Yeah, let's get
like North Carolina, Georgia, surrounding area. Kyle and I have been talking about that. So great.
We've got quite a few in North Carolina. Quite a few.
Well, it's easier because I got people all over the country who want to come and overseas.
Around the world, yeah.
And what happens is, if you guys have a Skywatch tomorrow night, I'm a busy guy. I lived in a suitcase, no joke, 38 weeks this year. Yeah. Out of 52 weeks, probably 38 weeks I've been on living out of a suitcase. Never knew this book would take off like it did. Still in the top in the Christian and angel categories at Amazon for 22 months now. Yeah. So 22 and a half months. Yeah. So so let's organize that. We have to get my schedule right, but I can go home. I can be back. I can come here, but if people come from far away, then we have to get hotels, and then it's 2 and 3 days of my time entertaining every person. Yeah, and it's just easier. But we'll have those too, like bigger events. But it's not easy putting on these big things.
It's stressful.
It's very stressful.
Yeah, absolutely. When we had those 200 out there on the beach, we were, for the first night at least, we were like, are we allowed to do this? Is this going to be a problem?
Is the city going to come and get us?
Exactly.
Right? Send the cops. And got the whole
That's my big thing.
Taken up, 200 cars out there.
Oh my gosh.
50 cars.
When we pulled up to the parking lot of the same access we always go to.
There's always 2 cars there, right?
Oh, yeah. Literally maybe 5 cars. Yeah. We pull up, it is slam full. And Casey goes, there's no way this is all for the Bledsoes, right? And I was like, I think it is. And then we got, and there was like 2 spots open.
So I told you all this, but I didn't tell you this. I went on Google Maps and counted the parking spaces in that lot, and there's 100 parking spaces.
Wow.
And so that lot was completely full, and you've got to think there's more than 1 person per car.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So... I mean, and I thought the same thing. The 2 people in front of me pulled into the lot, and the person behind me pulled into the lot, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
You know what? I wonder if something worthwhile would be like encouraging people to carpool or Uber or something, so that that could be helpful for
Yeah,
for
that's
some of
logistics
this.
you guys have to work out.
Yeah, we have time. We can talk about that later.
And
Yeah,
then-
but
yeah, no, it gets, there's a lot of other aspects to it. The people want to bring high tech equipment and
Let 'em.
gadgets and sensors, and well, no, I don't know if that is all. If I can do that.
Yeah.
What do you
Because
mean?
of my association with some contracts that I have.
Mm-hmm.
like, okay,
Well, without getting into detail.
Yeah.
you
Got-
know
I
what I'm
understand.
saying?
I understand.
So there's limitations on me
Yeah.
of what I can do right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing. It's actually a
It's a
real
great
good
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. good
Very
thing.
exciting. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. One thing's for sure, it's always really awesome to have those gatherings and have all the, like the Azalea Fest and the River Fest. Like, it's just really incredible.
well, we did the Bigfoot Fest too, right after the,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
River Fest.
Yeah.
Alex was with me there, and man, we had a crowd there too. It was 170 people. I know that the church, this little church in a little town in the middle of nowhere, they have a Bigfoot Fest every year and have 15, 20 people show up. And they hold it in this little church, little white country church. And I had a table outside, nowhere in the church. So we're out on the grass, 2 or 3 vendors, and I'm signing books. And we sold every book we had. And then the whole church was full. And they said, it's time for you to speak. So when I walk in there, the whole entire church, every pew was packed. No more people getting in the pews. The choirs behind me was full of people all the way around, and then they went out and found chairs and lined them up as much as 2 wide, leaving a little teeny aisle all the way down the whole thing, and there was another 20 to 30 people standing outside, couldn't even get in. And after us, am I right?
No, they were running chairs the whole time he's talking. They're pulling chairs out of the back room and adding them to the crowd while he's talking.
They were not prepared.
I'm basically sitting on someone from our Discord's lap. Like, I walked in the same time as him, and I was like, "Can you scoot over?"
And that's how I feel about holding these gatherings.
Right,
We're
yeah,
not
yeah.
So
prepared.
here's the crazy
Yeah,
thing.
it's stressful.
They're like, can we do a sky watch? I didn't really want to advertise that we were going to. I just advertised the Bigfoot Fest. If
Yeah.
I'd have advertised Skywatch, it would have been way too many people for that little place. So, but anyhow, the people that put it together told me that they sold 160 tickets, and that there was still 30 or so people, a lot more than that outside, that or people that come in that never paid.
Yeah.
So they got in there at the end. So we had well over 170 or 80 people that showed up for the Skywatch, because at the end, and I was speaking, I said, we're going to have a Skywatch about a mile down the street, go down 1 mile to the stop sign, turn left, and there's a park. That's where they told me it was. And so I directed them all down. And Alex, and he's driving right, and he and I are packing our tables, and we're last to get out of the church. And when we pull in the parking lot, it's like, oh Lord, this place is full. Well, the only place that we could stand was an old railroad trestle type bridge that crossed a little river called the Deep River, and it's not much more than a creek, right? And so it's trees all around us, and we just could look up through the trestle of the bridge straight up and a little bit this way. But when I got out of the car, the whole bridge is just solid people, and we come walking up, and they're all waiting and greeting me. And I walked through the crowd to the middle of the bridge, and as soon as I look up, here they come, and some of the people counted over 73 orbs that evening.
Yeah.
Wow.
From looking straight up.
Someone messaged me. They counted over 70.
Yeah.
That was there the whole time. Some people left early and they're like, I saw 30, but people that were there the entire time
Yeah,
messaged
counted
me
over
because I
70.
wasn't there, you weren't there. We
Right,
couldn't
yeah.
make it.
Yeah.
And they were
And-
coming, some come under the clouds, some were appearing and disappearing and flashing and so on. It's typical. But all that's going to go greater and greater and greater. It's
Mhm.
going to get even better until they step out and do a meet and greet. That's coming.
Yeah.
Wow.
You get the sense that they're coming more into the world for the masses to see, and that's
100%.
That's
I
not going
predicted
anywhere,
that.
right?
I predicted that.
I know.
There's a reason I did.
I lived it.
Yeah, and the book kind of describes that, and all these podcasts I've done for years. I told them recently in Ubiquity University. I did a little interview with them, all the experts, right, from Danny Sheehan and government people, and I told them then that when you see Israel and Iran exchanging fire, shooting missiles at one another, at that point you're going to see the orbs come into our world and wake us all up. They're not going to let them get by with it this time. We've got to grow up. They're killing each other over stupid stuff, religion, right? I'm a spiritual guy, I love God, but religion is a man-made thing. You know, God in India is the same God in California, is the same God in China.
It's true.
Right? There is no different God. You don't have a different one than this one.
Yeah, God is
and
God.
You don't have the skivvy better than this one does.
Yep.
Not does the Catholic Church, nor the Baptist Church, nor the Hindu.
Yep.
They don't know. Nobody knows. And we got to come together and quit fighting, or we're going to destroy the planet and crash and burn in flames. But the heavens are saying it wasn't written that way.
Right.
It's written to be 1,000 years of peace. That's what the lady said. All the darkness is going to be exposed, and all these bad actors are going to go down in flames. And peace will come. And that's her message. So there's trouble happening. They're not going to go down easy, but it's coming.
Yeah, in a sense, you always raised me since I was a child. 13 years old, this started happening to you, and I'll never forget. I'm like 14 at this point, and you're like, son, I learned what the word apocalypse means.
Yeah.
What does it mean? The revealing.
Yeah.
The unveiling of that which is hidden.
To reveal that which is unknown. When people say the news or the average people think, oh, the apocalypse, oh my God, that's the end of the world. It's going to blow up in flames. Well, that isn't what it means at all.
Yeah.
It's the same word as like Revelation. Revelation is a story of writings about that, but the word apocalypse means to reveal that which has been hidden.
Yeah.
And as a group of people that's hidden the truth from humanity, that we can connect straight to God. We don't need to go in between. I don't need you to tell me, pray for me. I don't need to pay you to save me.
Yeah. Say your Hail Marys, all that.
Yeah. Do this and you'll be saved.
Right.
It's between me and him.
Exactly.
It's not between me and them.
Yeah.
And I have the same connection as anybody, as you and anybody on this planet, and we all need to know that. And if we realize that, we all get much bigger.
If we use our logical minds here, that is why the powers that be don't want people connecting, because they're afraid of every one of us awakening to the truth of who we are, that we're a part of God, and that we can connect on our own just because we're special.
Well, that's what they killed Jesus for.
Right.
He'd come back and saying you could do greater than I if you just had the faith of a mustard seed. Told them to quit selling birds and animals, and which was a tax basically.
Yeah.
You pay us for this bird, and we'll cut it in half and burn half for you, and the other half we'll sell. And that's what they did. They kept it for themselves, and all that meat went into markets. I learned this through scholars that taught me this stuff.
Yeah. Why he turned the tables over at the temple.
Yeah. So they killed him because he had a message that they didn't want to hear. And basically, we're to that point now again that same message is being told. Not just me, but a lot of people are seeing it and waking up to the fact that we can all connect to something greater, and it'll bless you. But the church tells you, oh, it's evil, it's the demons.
Right.
I get told that every friggin' day of my life. I get called an apostate. I've been in the church 55 years. And I know, my faith is as good as anyone. I know the Bible about as good as anybody. And my whole connection's between me and God. It ain't between me and somebody else. I don't need anybody tell me how to think. I get angry when I think about things like that.
Me too.
For 18 years I've been persecuted, that I've led my family down the path of demonic, demons, and I've brought it on my family and my house, and so much stress.
Meanwhile, we're outside at night praying to God and for something to appear, and we're seeing things.
I
So
just ask the Holy Spirit if you would share your presence or send your angelic, your angels, your children. That's how I do it. I don't pray to them. I pray to God.
Exactly.
I ask God, if you would, send your angels. Poof, here they come. And if praying to that brings the devil, well, then we all need to quit praying, right?
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I gotta say, the last 10 minutes have been a little trippy. Like, I've just been really overwhelmed with this feeling that I was a kid 16 years ago doing literally this exact same. Y'all have said some of the exact same things that I remember hearing 15, 16 years ago. The whole, like, the apocalypse to reveal that which is unknown, like, and having the connection with God, and it's not this God, that God. It's the right.
So what?
Tomorrow's the anniversary. It's
Ryan
trippy.
knows this, and more than anybody. But I have trunks. I have a trunk, big trunk full of stuff, a lot of stuff. But journals, where once I had the regression in 2008, it all started coming back. So I started writing all this down. And everything that's happening today, I wrote it 17 years ago.
Yeah. I read the part about Israel and Iran in this journal.
Just journals of stuff.
I've been hearing about it.
Yeah.
We've had so many conversations in your red room, and now we're in the green room,
right?
And we're having the same conversations, and but now the things are happening right now. It's trippy.
It's happening, right? And nobody can imagine it, but I'm on record, clear, especially with people within the intelligence world. They know for sure. I mean, I put it all in writing to them.
In 2012.
2012,
to the Pentagon, and then it went straight to Obama. Yeah,
and I did it, and one of the main things in there was they don't like suffering. They don't like to see their, what they care for us. Why would they come? Why do they come? There are patterns here. It's funny that you never hear this in the UFO world. They don't, they don't talk about this, but there are clear patterns that exist that I've been shouting to the rooftop for all these years why they come and what I do to make them come. But let's just say, of the thousands of people that write me, they all say the same thing when they call me to tell me about their experience. So every day I get dozens and dozens of letters every day. Some of them are biographies of their experience. They don't report it to these other places because they think I can answer them, and they feel like they can stay hidden and tell their story. And you'd be surprised how many elderly women that reach out to me. That's the majority of them are elderly women. And when you go through the whole thing, all the way through, you learn the common denominator. What was life like for you, Miss John, when they started appearing around you? I was in the kitchen and this orb appeared right outside my window and it scared me, and I hear you, the guy that understands and knows. I'm like, okay. What was going on with you at that point? And it's always the same. My husband died last week. My daughter died. My son died. My grandma died. My dad died. My mom died.
Cancer,
traumatic,
anything,
PTSD,
suffering,
near-death experience. There are no other reasons. These are all the common denominators. Why would a plasmoid orb, inert gaseous being, care and know what you're thinking and care about my grandma or my somebody's feelings, right?
Right. So
I pose all this for your audience to understand This is the common, to figure it out on your own. I'm not telling you what it is, because I'm still trying to figure it out. But I can tell you what I do to get it to calm. I can tell you that it blesses people. And when you ask it to, not all, but a lot, healing-wise. And all of you've seen it. I just never talk about it. But, yeah, why would, valiant Thor from the Valiant, the Galactic,
From Venus.
Galactic Federation want to come and bother me on the river while I'm fishing, and because he cares about me and
Right.
my sadness, right?
Yeah.
Come on. Time to grow up and understand it's spiritual. It's not physical, it's spiritual. There may be physical. It's not my swim lane. I'm not saying all that other stuff doesn't exist. Very well could.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not your guy there.
Right.
I'm the guy.
There's just no evidence of it, so we, can't.
Well, there's people that see it. Is it the orbs mimicking it?
Right.
And I have gotten great vindication this week, because I told MUFON and the whole group years ago that these orbs are what you're seeing. They're mimicking everything.
Mm-hmm.
They're all like, oh, yeah, right. We're going to investigate the craft. We're not going to do the orbs anymore. Okay, y'all just do your thing.
Have fun.
Right. And now they're filming orbs morphing into drones, and they're shooting at an orb, boom, boom, and then the orb shoots the drone down, and then all of a sudden the orb turns into a drone, and it's like, confusing them. They're playing with them.
Mm-hmm.
And can do it all.
Just like when they're smiling in the rocket and terrifying the NASA guys and going 125 foot tall. They humble you.
Yep.
They humble you.
Well, they wanted to know, why are these things doing this to us? And I saw a video of this rocket, getting shot out of the sky, disabled. And it's like, why do you reckon they did that? NASA asking me this about the plasmoids, why they're shooting the rockets down. And I'm like, did you have weapons on that thing? Well, yes, we did. A mock nuclear warhead. I said, well, there's your answer. It wasn't live. It was like the real thing, but it wasn't live. I said, well, they come down and disable them on the ground, What do you think? You're going to send one up in space? They're not going to let it. And so it's a lot more here than anybody knows.
Yeah.
I've not revealed all of it, and there's more to come.
Yeah. That was great. That was really powerful. I think we're at a pretty good place to stop. But I guess, I think it's important to sort of, because we get a lot of questions. What should I do? What should I do? How should I be prepared? So what do you say to people who are freaking out right now about this whole orb drone thing?
Stay positive. Turn the news off. Don't listen to all the negative, because it gets in your brain. You can't think clearly. But the more that we all become a collective, positive force, the more it negates the darkness and the negative. Have faith. It's all going to be. We're fighting some pretty bad actors. There are people that want this out. And there's a lot of good people that do want it out. And however it ends up, I would tell all your people to just be able to at least last a month in case something crazy happens. Have a little food and water for a month at least, because there's no telling what could happen. I mean, we're looking at World War III, right? We don't know. Will it be here? Will it be overseas? Who knows? But none of it has to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the latter is going to overrule the darkness. This is why I keep saying it's going to be a little trouble. The lady told me, showed it to me, so I put it in writing. I saw it. But she said one thing, we can change it. It don't have to happen.
Yeah.
And when she said, we're going to come and wake you up, everybody, and now we're all seeing it, it's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening right now. But just stay positive. Don't be afraid.
Be happy.
Be happy. Embrace what's happening. Don't buy into the fear. They want to muddy the water and make fear. Well, let them. It's not going to end up good for whoever's doing it. I don't know who's doing this. Could be bad actors. It could be Could be anything. Who knows what they're doing? But I know that there's a force above that's got their eyes on them big time, whatever they're doing, whoever it is.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. How are you going to argue with that? It's just a pure positive message.
Stay positive. Don't let them plant fear in your brain. Because when you start fearing, you actually lose that spiritual connection, and you allow the dark force to take over, and they feed on fear, and it's like parasites, these parasitic demonic entities. So you can't see them. Everybody says, oh, the orb's a demon. Baloney. Demons are parasitic. That you can't see them. They're not physical. They inhabit inside your body. They possess you.
Yeah.
It's like the story of Legion in the Bible, where there were over 1,000 demons in that man, and they asked Jesus not to cast them into the air. They couldn't be in the air. They had to be in something. So they said, let us go into the pigs, and he did, and then caused the pigs to go out and drown themselves. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the physical beings, the physical orbs are the angelic beings. The demons are non-physical.
When you say physical, I just want to clarify. When you say physical,
you can see.
You can see them. They're manifested.
They can come into your
right.
work.
Yeah, I just want to clarify for them.
Right.
They're manifested. They're visible,
Right.
not necessarily physical.
Of light.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
They exist in the physical space.
Yeah, they can appear and disappear at will and affect your life and hear your thoughts, know what you're thinking. But being positive creates a light around you. An army of angels are around you. I believe in my spirit there are 3 with me at all times, one behind me and one on either side. In the spirit world, wherever I walk, my aura glows brightly. So does yours. The more you're connected spiritually, the greater your aura grows. And then these angels will come around you because you're living that spiritual life, right? That love and that connection and caring for your brothers and your sisters and your friends and strangers. You want to be of service to them. Living that way in a positive world brings that light around you, and the darkness can't get close. It won't go there. But once you start getting fearful and you start thinking all this, you lose that connection, and you let this parasitic race come in and whisper in your ear, and they can drive you mad and take over. That's what you're fighting. Along with man. Man's probably the most evil thing there is out there, or can be. Not all, but they've always wanted to blame the angels. The angels caused the sin. The angels did that. The felonious man.
Yeah.
This man that killed that person. This man that blew up a whole village and killed innocent people. This man that run over them 30 people last week. It wasn't an angel. It wasn't a demon. It was a man. So, the darkness is within you if you let it be. So keep the light inside, and darkness has no power over you. What did Jesus say? Fear not, for evil has no power over you. He said, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, because his rod and staff
Thou art with me.
are with me. Those angels are with you. So it's simple. Stay positive and a nice, warm smile on your face, because that shines bright to your friends that walk by. Just a frown on your face can cause a person to think, oh my God, make them that smile brings a light, and that's what we've got to do, is shine the light and don't live in fear. Whatever happens, we have more control over that than we understand by being positive and awakened to a truth. Once we all learn we have that connection, humanity will get very powerful. We'll go to the stars, ascend.
That's amazing.
Yep.
That's a mic drop.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said.
That's a mic drop.
Beautiful.
Behold.
That's the world I want to live in.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Dad.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure.
Thanks
and
for
an
coming
honor.
on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary
Tomorrow.
to the Bledsoes tomorrow.
Yeah. Happy
I went
anniversary.
out tonight. I had to say, while waiting on you guys to get here, I told Ryan, I just got a sky watch a minute. And he runs out to get the mail. It's still daylight, and comes in and shows me a video of this double orb that comes over. And I'm grabbed my, guess what, I got my sweater on. I ran outside and my little hoodie right over this thing. It's my sky watching outfit. So I went out, took my little psionics camera, and immediately here, just boom, in the daylight, another one of those double orbs appear. And I filmed it, and probably another 10 or 15, and just a few minutes, and I said, it's too cold, and I ran back inside. It was like 25 degrees or something out there. Cold, but it was a good night. Right?
Yeah, we saw several.
Yeah.
Over a dozen at least.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. I love you, Dad. You're the man.
I love you,
And
son.
this show is possible because of you. So thanks for coming on. It feels appropriate with tomorrow being the anniversary.
Yeah, it's special.
And that wasn't planned.
No,
It
it just happened.
fell into place, you know? So,
It just happened.
all right. You remember how we end it?
No, it was 2 years ago. The last
No one
2
ever
years.
remembers.
Give him a break. It's 2 years.
We just say bye, guys.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. What up, homies?
If you like the show and want more, check out patreon.com/Bledsoe Said So.
This will get you exclusive weekly bonus shows and access to our Discord community with hundreds of open-minded people just like you.
If you want to represent the show, go to bledsoesaidso.com for merch. We have t-shirts, hats, hoodies, and more.
For all future updates, follow us on Instagram at Bledsoe Said So.
Same time next week.